And up until that point, GCEC had always been in the US. It represents about 250 or so people now attend each year to the main annual gathering, which takes place in the autumn. I should say the fall, because it's American. And despite the fact it says global, though, about 90% of the participants are from the US, most of the time. And we went, and there were lots of really good things that happened, but there were things that didn't apply to us too. And I was also aware, from a European point of view, that we had different issues that weren't being discussed. And in 2014, I was working at UCL, University College London, running the Entrepreneurship Centre, and we hosted GCEC for the first time it had ever been outside of the US. And we got a then record attendance. And one of the reasons for that was it turned out there were loads of people in Europe who thought that the US was quite far and expensive to get to, who did want to come and experience some of this and see what it was. And ever since then, we've been trying to work out how to build something on that. And when we, through a different program, Citrus Saturday, which Alana mentioned at the beginning, which we'd started, meant that we'd had a conversation with the guys here, we started to turn over the idea that actually this would be quite a good place to come and do something about that. And I now sit on the GCEC main board, and with as the token European. What we wanted to do was basically say, well, let's try and start something small out of that. Remembering that group of 10 people who first sat around a bowl of peanuts, we're already 3 times bigger than that, and we've had considerably better food. Which is one of the advantages of coming to Madrid over Minneapolis, or wherever it was that it started, with no offence to anybody from Minneapolis. Have I offended anybody from Minneapolis? No.
No, have another go.
Okay, it's fine. I'll keep picking cities until I eventually offend somebody. But in bringing it here and in starting this, the opportunity is to create a community that enables us to discuss some of the things that are relevant to Europeans, and also to add that community to the wider global GCEC. So when we come back after the break, we'll hear from the folks in Canada who are going to be hosting the main conference later in the year, and hopefully we will be able to feed some elements into that. We will be able to build relationships between this group and the people who are in the main conference, the big state universities, as well as the Harvards and the Yales and others who are part of the main GCEC grouping, and build something that is a genuinely useful, practical, supportive, constructive network. This is not about people standing up and showing off their papers and explaining why that's really useful. That's a valid thing to be doing in university, just not here. This is the place where we come to share ideas and to steal ideas and to occasionally, and build networks for things that we might want to do together in future. And so several of the projects that we've talked about are things exactly where that happened. And I'm going to finish by giving one specific example of that. We've already referenced Citrus Saturday. So Citrus Saturday was a program that started after my first trip to GCEC, which was then hosted by Rice University in Houston. And there was a wonderful guy there, an entrepreneur called Michael Holthaus. He'd made several $100 million out of a couple of software businesses. That's when people thought that hundreds of millions of dollars, and with total lack of shame, right? And that's what this is about. This is about finding ideas that work, finding people that you can work with, find someone new that you can build a relationship with to bid for, a European funding pot, or to deliver an exchange program with. And don't worry about the boundaries that are the ones we so often use, like only universities, only businesses, only political institutions. Everything that we do, anybody who here thinks they're an entrepreneur? No? Who here thinks that they're an academic? Who thinks that they aren't entirely sure what it is they do? Okay. All of us, right, between those three, have to collaborate all the time, and yet we find it hard to jump between them. This is the bit where the academics work with the entrepreneurs, work with the city people, work with the funding agencies and the big corporates to do the things that really are practically different, that matter, that deliver outcomes, opportunities, experiences. So look around this space. If you weren't here to do the tour earlier, look around and do this. Because one of the things that I hate in the spaces I've worked on in universities is you go to somebody in a university and you have an idea for a workspace for entrepreneurs, and they will try and build you something new, something modern, expensive office furniture. It either looks like a corporate office or worse, a university office. It is not a space for entrepreneurs. Take a building, do as little to it as possible, and see how it then grows and evolves from use. You know, steal the ideas that work. Try and find a building where you can inherit a library. Awesome. And have something. And use and share ideas. We are not in competition with each other. This is a collaborative opportunity. So I hope that gives you some background to what GCEC is supposed to be about, some of its values, where it came from, and why we're here. And as Alana said, if we can make this work, and we tweet about it, with the stuff, where's it got? It was up here. Well, there's the hashtag. And we tweet about it, and we make all the Americans in GCEC feel really bad for not being here, then what we will do is make this an annual mini-summit, an annual event that supplements the main conference, and we build what was mostly a national conference with a few little touch points elsewhere into a truly global consortium of entrepreneurship centres. Thank you.